Let's do this right. It's Monday. Yeah, it's morning.
And it's Macabre. Welcome to Monday Morning Macabre, you spooky daddies out there, ready to get your Monday cooking up with some spookies, thrills, and chills.
He's so spooky.
Ah, sconesies!
In the morning.
Hey guys, it's us, Scones and Darcy, back with another episode of Monday Morning Macabre for your Monday morning ears.
Those ears, ooh,
Looking
back to
a
work.
little chilled in the autumn breeze, perhaps, under your cool beanie cap.
Your Sunday scaries have melted away into the realization of your work week.
Work week.
Guys, it's literally 6 days until not All Hallows Eve, because isn't that the night before? Or
No,
is it Halloween?
No,
That is
Halloween
Halloween.
is All Hallows.
Is All Hallows Eve, because the next day is All Hallows, baby.
Yay, finally All Hallows. And then
All right.
All Saints Day.
So I gotta ask, guys, what is your favorite candy? Which one are you gonna be swapping at back home once you get back with all your friends and you pour all the candy out of your bags and your little jack-o'-lantern
Oh man,
baskets?
that's the best business class you could ever take.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, I know Baby Ruths are gonna be blue chips this year, baby.
I know that weirdo kid that came likes almonds, so I'm gonna trade him all these.
Yeah. And then your friend Petey has a peanut allergy because it starts with a P, and then you have to deal with that. And then his mom calls your mom, and then your mom's like, I don't even know a Petey, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah, it so stinks, dude.
It
guys,
so stinks.
Full disclosure, I'm sipping on a Voodoo Ranger right now, which is a New Belgium experimental IPA. So I gotta.
Is it
let it be known.
Their pumpkin and jalapeno beer?
Is that a thing? They have a pumpkin jalapeno beer?
Oh, I wouldn't lie about that.
Scones would not lie, guys. Scones, Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, those are the only two people who wouldn't lie. Was it Abraham Lincoln or George Washington?
That's it. No, it was.
I will not tell a lie. Who's that?
Honest Abe.
Oh, Honest Amy Schumer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Us three.
You three are the Don't Lie Club, so listen up, gang.
What's the pumpkin? I'm trying to look up what the pumpkin. Oh, it's called Atomic Pumpkin.
Atomic Pumpkin sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's not great. Not my favorite pumpkin beer.
You know what I don't get is, which something my wife loves is, also humble brag, is Clamato.
Whoa.
You ever have Clamato?
Oh, yes, I have, because Jenny split some Clamato with me in college.
Because my wife, humble brag.
Yeah, because my friend, humble brag, split some with me in college, Jenny, and it was gnar. It was one of the gnarest things I've ever had.
Super gross.
It was Bud Light made a beer in
Bud
Clamato.
Light, which if you're looking for the high quality Clamato, you've come to the right place when Bud Light's your dealer.
I want to see the data and the marketing research that led them to be like, we need to make a canned Clamato beer.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, someone that is out of touch.
Someone sent in way too much prank data and got them to make it. It was probably Jenny.
Yeah, I bet. Is Jenny the CEO of Bud Light?
She might be. Anheuser-Busch.
Is she Mr. Light?
Is she Johnny Light?
Anyway, guys, welcome to Monday Morning Macabre, the show where we talk about creepy, spooky stuff and Clamato juice.
Clamato juice is creepy.
It's spooky because it tastes like dookie.
And it had to have been a witch that first brewed it together.
Hey, baby. Guys, I hope you're in your super fall moods, your scary
in your costumes.
Moods. I hope you guys are in your costumes, sitting, listening to this podcast, just so amped, just staring out your window at passerbys, and they're like, why is there a sexy Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer staring at me? And that's for them to wonder and for you to know.
I love how jazzed kids, being a kid, how you used to just get so amped about your costume.
Yeah, it was the best.
I was at my nephew's birthday party a month ago, and a kid,
humble brag,
was already wearing his Iron Man costume.
That's awesome. That kid gets it.
It was an indoor pool party, and he was just full Iron Man out.
He's just sunk at the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
Just full literal iron.
definitely bought it, and like his mom bought it in August, and he was so fucking stoked about
He's like,
it.
Mom,
that he's just like,
I found
I'm
an
wearing
excuse.
this every day.
Pool party Tony. This week, gang, I'm going to be sharing with you a listener suggestion.
Ooh.
And listener, you know who you are. What if I just like did that? I didn't give credit. I was just like, you
That'd
know
be
who you
amazing.
are. No, this one.
Every single listener is like, oh,
yeah,
me.
exactly. It's me. Shout out to Jess. Jess gave us a little message, a DM saying, hey, full username, Jess Linker04.
I believe this user is also a Patreon member.
I believe so as well. And Jess, I hope I don't know if it's like, for some reason my head thinks your first name is Jesslyn, but that's not a first name. So
hey,
you know what I'm saying. Anyway, she hit us with
one thing I've learned on this podcast is that names are hard.
That's true. Scones is the king of names. We've always said that.
For sure.
Jess hit us with a little message saying, hey guys, I just came across this story. It's pretty disturbing. Hopefully it's not a repeat that I forgot about. Well, guess what, Jess?
I have the same exact sentiment.
Yeah, it is crazy now that we're at the point where we have so many episodes that I genuinely have to like go back and double check.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I don't know if we've talked about these things.
It's gonna happen. I'm looking forward to it. And then one.
Oh yeah, and they'll listen to me like, guys, you guys. Yeah, and we're gonna be like, that's when we hit like podcast old folks home level of podcast.
It's us and Mark Maron.
Yeah, Mark's like, get out of my garage. I have a different voice now.
And I'm dressed up like his cat, and I'm like, lock the gates.
So this week's Scones, we're going to be talking about Richard Chase, the vampire of Sacramento.
Shut your mouth, dude. Wait, have we talked about this?
I know. Okay, so here's the thing. I read that, and I was like, this sounds familiar.
I read everything now, and it all sounds familiar.
Because there's so many like vampires of XYZ and like, slasher of whatever.
No, I think I'm mixing it up with the vampires of like New England back in
yes.
like that.
So that's the thing is like I did go back through our catalog. I looked at the titles and descriptions, and I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about this before.
We're gonna have to put together like a spreadsheet, like something searchable or something.
And if we have, guys, hey. The killer's so nice, we talked about him twice. So, band, play us in, and we'll get to it. Band, thanks for playing us in.
Band, that was good. Everyone, give it up for the band.
Give it up for the band. Give it up for the band, and also our band, the band. You know?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Scones gets it. So, Scony Baloney. Guess where I'm getting this article from.
All that's
yup.
Interesting, baby.
Either
that or a 4chan message board.
Either that or like a Garnier message board.
Yeah, either that or like good home keeping or whatever the fuck. Has like the Good Housekeeping has like the dopest, scariest, like we've done like 2 articles off Good Housekeeping. And it's amazing.
5 ways to make your bay windows pop. And also, Marie Curie have bodies in her basement. And you're like, what? What are these? What?
How to make bodies fit in your basement, just so.
So, Scowny, this isn't all that. It's an interesting article. Cara Goldfarb, shout out to you.
Hell yeah, Cara. That's a name. As you know, I'm a big fan of names.
We're big fans.
That's a great name.
So, Richard Chase, the Vampire of Sacramento, was as ghoulish as he sounds.
He sounds pretty ghoulish, dude.
Yeah, he's. I mean, and it's time for Halloween, so get your ghoulies out. Don't get grabbed by the ghoulies. Get them out.
It sounds like something you do like at camp. Like everyone shake out all the ghoulies.
Guys, it's morning before morning bell, before the flag raise. We have to get our ghoulies out.
Or like at a pep rally when they're like tell you to scream to get like it all out. And, like,
yeah, the principal's
I
like
hate
get your ghoulies
everything.
Out. Yeah.
I can't hear you. And I'm like, I don't want to be.
Dude, I don't think there's ever been a time I thought that was cool ever. Even like professional, like band, like you go see your favorite band and they come out and they're like, "What's up? I can't hear you." And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, no, but there have to be people out there that are like, "Oh, now I'm really getting jazzed.
He
He couldn't hear me
when
before.
he couldn't hear us, guys, we gotta be louder."
Oh shit, I'm about to take it up a level.
Yeah, that's the sad thing is that I bet like 80% of the people are like, "Oh man, I guess he couldn't hear us."
Time for me to kick it up a notch.
Time to turn this bad boy up to 11. I love you, Drake. All right. Anyway, Richard Chase was a serial killer whose tendency to drink his victims' blood earned him the nickname Vampire Killer.
That's a good name.
That's a solid name.
That's a good nickname.
Good naming conventions. Technically, all serial killers are disturbed, but there's a sliding scale. And Richard Chase, the vampire Sacramento, is strongly on one side. He lived his life under a series of powerful delusions that had fatal consequences. And that's a good summation because this dude has some crazy shit going on in his brain. And we're gonna chat about it, but it is wild.
Are you sure? Did you try to look at it from his point of view?
Honestly, I did, and I still came up empty. So,
bro, they're called blood transfusions. Look it up.
Hashtag I know a lot about blood transfusions. So.
Do you?
Yeah, let's just say Mercury's in retrograde, and I've had a bad time.
Things are gonna get
easier. Ooh, Mercury's in retrograde. Chase made the papers when he killed and mutilated the bodies of 6 victims in Sacramento, California in the late 1970s.
Oh, 70s classic.
Classic
crazy
serial killer time.
Off there. Yeah, big time.
Yep, big time. Given his nickname, it doesn't come as much of a surprise that Richard Chase's trademark was drinking the blood of his victims after he killed them.
So that's technically cannibalism, right?
I suppose, yeah. Well, is it strictly eating flesh?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question. Scones, you are so good at this.
Right, that should be on the questions. By the way, listeners, write in your questions.
Yes, shoot us your AMAs. We got some questions cooking. We're making a viddy. If you want to be in the viddy. We're going to do one of those like GQ, like where they interview like 2 actors and like in the intro they have that like, there's no audio, but it's like the 2 like actors palling around and like shoving each other playfully.
Oh, I can't wait to pal around in our itty bitty litty viddy.
Yep. But believe it or not, drinking his victims' blood wasn't even the vampire killer's most disturbing trait. Dum dum dum.
Richard Chase was guilty of tax fraud.
He also used Windows XP. Windows 8 was his chosen OS. Richard Chase showed signs of mental illness at a young age, but his father, a strict and sometimes physically abusive parent, did little to get him help. That's a classic.
All the
goods.
Yeah, it's all adding up here.
Yep.
Everything's sugar and spice.
And everything nice. Chase was disturbed and unhappy as a child, and his symptoms grew worse in adolescence. He set several small fires, frequently wet the bed, and displayed signs of cruelty towards animals.
So that's like the McDonald's 3 for $3 deal?
Yeah. Yep. These 3 habits are sometimes called the McDonald's triad, or the triad of sociopathy, proposed by psychiatrist J.M. McDonald in 1960.
I'm glad I got ahead of that.
Yeah, you did. I was like, I'm so glad because I knew it was coming. Yeah, it's the 3 for $3 deal. And he had it in spades. Chase's problems grew worse when his father allegedly kicked him out of the house. Without supervision, Chase turned to alcohol and drugs, which quickly turned into substance abuse. I don't have a good summation. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's this is almost to a T what what's his name? Lived in Seattle, 8 people. Oh, Jeffrey Dahmer, My Friend Dahmer was the name of the movie.
Dahmer, yeah.
And his parents basically abandoned him at the house. He turned to substance abuse on top of already having urges to kill and eat people.
Yep. So drug. Okay, so if you combine
so if me and you were
a person
back
who's
then.
already, if you combine a person who's like has the McDonald's 3 for $3 with drugs, it's a bad combo.
Yeah. What we're really trying to say, listener, is that if we were back then, we could have stopped it.
Yeah, we're saying it would never have happened.
Yeah, we're pulling a Mark Wahlberg. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a transformer. Psychotropic drugs exacerbated the symptoms of his illness. Who would have thunk? Like the vampire whose moniker he would soon adopt, he became convinced on several occasions that his heart had stopped. At times, he thought he was a walking corpse.
Which is like a really scary frame of reference to.
Yeah,
have
scary frame of reference.
Believe.
Also, like when I got like shut down by a girl. That was me.
Wait, what does it say? What drugs he's on?
It says good times. I don't know. It does not. It does not. It just says psychotropic drugs.
Yeah, it's probably like the kind of drugs that some bro, like tech bro on Instagram is going to be like, nah, bro, you just take a little bit of it and it would cure all of that.
So he thought he was a walking corpse, which is not a great feeling.
No, probably
believe
not.
me. But being occasionally dead was no reason to neglect his health. As a father, he feared that he lacked vitamin C. No. Fearing that he lacked vitamin C, he reportedly pressed whole oranges to the skin of his forehead, believing that his brain...
Wait,
he believed
really?
That, yeah.
There is a joke in The Simpsons that's very similar to that, but okay, keep going.
Believing that his brain would absorb the nutrients directly. So this dude was just like smashing oranges on his forehead and being like,
there's a joke.
No more gangrene.
There's a joke in The Simpsons. It's Homer's watching an infomercial for a juicer. And the guy in the infomercial is Troy McClure, and he's like, no longer do you have to juice like this. And he takes an orange and just sticks it in his eye as hard as he can to get the juice out. And then it goes to Homer, and he's like, I don't, as he's also trying to get juice by putting it in his eye. So I immediately went to that. But anyway.
That tickled my fancy. One of his strangest and most powerful delusions involved his skull. He felt that his cranial bones had split apart and begun to shift beneath his skin.
Did he have, injuries that would...
No.
Oh, God.
No, he wet the bed scones.
I wonder if it's, migraines or something. I wonder, why he would suspect that.
I mean,
beyond
crazy amounts of drugs and abuse.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess the drugs,
stuff. Yeah. So he began to think... he thought it was splitting apart and shifting beneath his skin, changing places and jumbling like puzzle pieces. He shaved his head.
A baby skull?
Kind of, yeah. He shaved his head in an effort to monitor their movements. As a father, I've seen a baby skull.
And you shave the head to monitor
and I shave my daughter's hair every day to make sure it's not rearranging like a jigsaw puzzle. Unsurprisingly, at the age of 25, Chase was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and institutionalized in 1975 to prevent him from becoming a danger to himself.
Oh, I'm sure mental health in 1975 really fixed it.
Yeah, it was really solid. They're like, just say 5 Hail Marys and go home.
Either that or we're going to have to cut out the part of your brain that makes you think.
Yeah, I got this nifty new ice pick that I've been dying to use. His fascination with blood earned him the nickname Dracula among the psychiatric hospital's assistants, who witnessed him kill...
Very clever.
Yeah, really, really clever people. The assistants witnessed him kill and attempt to drink the blood of several birds in an effort to stave off the effects of poison that was, he imagined, slowly turning his blood to powder.
Did they try to stop him? How many birds did he get at?
You know why the parrot is in danger? he got most
parrot
of them.
From Rio, how it's extinct now?
Yeah. Yeah, Rio was last seen flying near a hospital. It was his attempt to inject himself with rabbit's blood, which made him violently ill, that had resulted in his institutionalization. So,
it didn't make him run really fast?
Yeah, he's he's got some issues.
The fascination, I feel like what's unique about him that I feel like I haven't heard other serial killers do is injecting stuff like other blood into him. That's pretty unique to this dude.
That's pretty gnar. So he's been now he's institutionalized because they're like, this dude's like is such a danger to himself that like we can't just let him.
Wildlife.
Yeah, exactly. Bad things are on the horizon for this dude. So in spite of several similar incidents, the staff believed that they had rehabilitated Chase, and he was released to live with his mother. Interesting choice. I don't know.
What a diagnosis.
It was a fatal decision. As Chase's condition wasn't improving, he was growing worse. Well, who saw? Raise your hand if you saw that coming.
You missed that one, Doc.
And now slowly wave to those children walking by your window as you're in your sexy Rudolph outfit. Though Richard Chase had been released into
sexy Rudolph.
That was what we said before, and by we, I mean me, and by me, I mean both of us.
That doesn't explain why it's a sexy Rudolph. Just because you said it before doesn't explain.
You don't get Halloween. All right, Yukon Cornelius wasn't available, so we had to go with baby. Rudolph. Oh, man. Though Richard Chase had been released into his mother's care, there was nothing legally binding that forced him to stay with her. Not long after his release from the psychiatric hospital, he moved out, later saying he thought his mother was poisoning him. So, smell you later, Mom. He moved into an apartment he shared with a group of young men he called friends. But it seems that they didn't know Chase well, and when he persisted in unusual behavior, notably drug abuse that left him constantly high and a proclivity for walking around the apartment without any clothing, they asked him to leave. So Chase is just vibing out, you know, and they're like, "Hey, we're not cool with that." But I mean,
we also don't know you.
Yeah. You're holding a dead bird and you're totally nude, covered in blood. It's weird.
He just likes to party. These guys are just narcs.
Honestly, they sound like narcs.
Could be narcs.
Richard Chase, however, refused, and it seemed the path of least resistance to his sometime roommates to abandon the apartment and find other lodgings. So that was kind of an alpha Chad move where he was like, "No, I'm not leaving. You got to leave." And they're like, "All righty,
wow.
Good day."
I didn't expect that. They just pack up.
He's like, as he closes his copy of How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah. Art of the deal, baby.
Wipes the blood from his chin and puts on his boxers.
To be fair, like, he holds all the cards in that situation.
That's true. Yeah, he is the one in power. Chase was once again living on his own, a circumstance that almost always exacerbated the symptoms of his condition. His fascination with blood resurfaced, and he began capturing and killing small animals. He would eat them raw or blend their organs with soda and drink the mixture.
Oh my God, what soda do you think he used?
I think it was probably, well, it was the 70s, right? So it was probably like Mr. Fizz or whatever.
His Moxie.
Yeah, exactly. Some sarsaparilla.
I think we think the 70s were way
yeah, he got on his horse, popped open his sarsaparilla, and then found the nearest saloon. In August of 1977, Nevada police found him late one night in the Lake Tahoe area, covered in blood and carrying a bucket with a liver in the back of his pickup. Since they
That's my favorite country song.
Bucket
liver and a bucket in the back of my pickup.
Yeah, that does go hard. Shout out to the South. Since they determined the blood. All right, Brantley. Was it Brantley?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Since they determined the blood and organ belonged to a cow, not a human, they let him go, which is like still crazy.
Kind of. But I could also see in like if you're in like a farm town, like being able to talk your way into having cow parts in your truck.
In a bucket in the back of your pickup and you're covered in blood?
The covered, again, it's like farm life, so maybe it's just
yeah, but where are you driving to? Why wouldn't you put that in like a sealed container, not just like an open bucket?
I don't know. He could have been like, "Oh, I'm coming from like the slaughterhouse, and like my dog's like eating the liver, and I got some on me."
Scones is coming up with some. I think you're a serial killer, dude. You got some.
Listen, I'm just a fan of country.
I just went to Country Fest
I'm just
a few
a good
times.
red-blooded American, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yet again, Richard Chase slipped through the cracks in systems that could have helped him and protected others. As it was, alone, with no one to watch him, or rein him in, he fell more deeply under the power of his delusions, until finally they prompted him to do the unthinkable.
So his mom was just like, smell you later?
Yeah, it seems so. I mean, once he's institutionalized, I'm sure it was just like
She's like, I'm sure he's fine.
I'd be like, oh yeah, I taught him to walk nude like that. That was me. On December 29th, 1977, Richard Chase was frustrated and lonely. His mother hadn't allowed him to come home for Christmas, he would later recall, and he was mad. Ambrose Griffin, a 51-year-old man who was helping his wife bring in groceries, became his first victim.
That's a sick name,
really
by
sad.
The way.
Yeah, Ambrose Griffin is a cool-ass
name.
While driving by their street, Chase pulled out a .22 caliber pistol and shot him in the chest. It was the beginning of an obsession. On January 23, 1978, Chase entered the home of Teresa Wallen, who was pregnant through her unlocked front door. He felt, he would say during interrogation, that an unlocked door... Oh yeah, this is the creepiest fucking thing ever. I remember, I've heard like about this guy, but I remember hearing this and like this stuck with me. He felt that if he came upon a door that was unlocked, it was an invitation for him to come in and justify whatever actions he does.
Ew.
Which is
it's very vampire-y, but...
Yeah, it's very vampiric. From that time on, all his victims were people who had left their door unlocked. It's like, yeesh, it's super spooky.
That's like...
Lock your doors.
The most, like, urban legend, like, scare your kids into doing something well, but it's real.
It's a no good, very bad day. So, Richard Chase shot Teresa Wallen 3 times using the same gun he used to shoot Griffin. Chase proceeded to stab her with a butcher knife before cutting out her organs and drinking her blood. Not great.
Wonder if my door's locked.
Yeah, everyone lock your doors, please. But stay in your Halloween costumes.
Yes, for the love of God.
That's an order. Chase's final murders were the most gruesome of all. So, heads up, if you don't want to hear some gruesome stuff, put on some, I don't know, country and...
Yeah. Put on some liver in the bucket in the back of my pickup.
On January 27th, 1978, just 4 days after Wallen's murder, Chase found Evelyn Miroth's door unlocked. Inside were her 6-year-old son Jason Miroth and her 22-month-old nephew David Ferreira. A friend named Dan Meredith, Meredith was murdered in the hallway, dead by a gunshot wound to the head. Chase subsequently stole his car keys. Evelyn and Jason were found in Evelyn's bedroom. The little boy had been shot twice in the head, which is just so dark. Evelyn was partially cannibalized. Her stomach was cut open and she had multiple organs missing. There was also a failed attempt to remove one of her eyes, and her corpse had been... I'm not going to go into that. The baby, David Ferreira, whom Evelyn Miroth had been babysitting, was missing from the scene of the crime.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Not great. Let's just say they find the child's body later. They did not make it. The story of what happened that night emerged during Chase's trial. The knock of a visitor had startled Sacramento's vampire killer, who took Ferreira's body and fled via Meredith's stolen car. The visitor alerted a neighbor, who then called the cops. The authorities were able to identify Chase's prints in Miroth's blood. When the police searched Chase's apartment, they found that all of his utensils were stained with blood and his fridge contained human brains. Chase was arrested. The sensational trial of the Vampire of Sacramento began on January 2nd, 1979, and lasted 5 months. The defense attorneys rejected the suggested death penalty on the grounds that Chase was not guilty by reason of insanity.
Oh, did California have the death penalty back then?
Apparently.
Also, fuck that excuse, dude. Like,
yeah, right? Like, even if you're crazy, you should still, like, it's still a...
He's still doing
It seems like a
things.
binary thing to me. Yeah, exactly. In the end, after 5 hours of deliberation, the jury took the side of the prosecution. Richard Chase, the vampire killer, was found guilty of 6 counts of murder and sentenced to death by gas chamber. His fellow inmates, aware of his crimes, were frightened by him. They often encouraged him to kill himself. Richard Chase did just that, stockpiling the anti-anxiety medicine he was offered by the jail's staff until he had enough for a fatal overdose. He was found dead in his jail cell the day after Christmas in 1980. So, a few things. That's the end of the article, and that's the story of the vampire killer. But I'm interested to see how that must have changed the protocol with medications, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
You would think that being able to stockpile medications to an overdose level seems like not.
Yeah, they definitely would. I mean, unless since he was like already kind of good at. Well, I don't know. I think if you're already sentenced to death, you'd probably be on watch, like much. They'd be.
You think so?
Yeah, they would probably be more inclined to do something like that. So you'd probably be on more watch. And yeah, they definitely make you swallow whatever it is and like check under your tongue and all that stuff.
Right? Yeah, they do that whole.
So you definitely can't just stockpile unless it was like some kind of anti-anxiety that you needed a shit ton to do it, and then like they just didn't think he could be like capable of that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
or the people who worked at the prison were like, I don't fucking care. Like, this guy's a monster.
Right, that's
like,
a good point, yeah.
I'm not going near him or his mouth. Like,
right. So that's the Vampire Sacramento. Super creepy. The unlocked door thing is something I think about like a lot. Like, it's very disturbing.
Yeah, it's like a weird like code that he like operated under. It's very scary.
This guy was obviously not mentally stable. Like, this isn't one of the ones where it was like, oh,
fair.
Like, I mean, he was gone. I'm no way justifying what he did, but I'm just saying, like, this is one of the times where it's like, sometimes we're like, well, did he know what he was doing?
Was not on Earth,
insanity,
no.
Or that guy was out of his gourd. It's pretty horrific. That's
a pretty seasonally
gourd, pumpkin, Halloween.
Yep. You were there.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It all comes back full circle. Guys, get excited about Halloween. Put on your favorite spooky movie. Throw on some podcasts. Send in your Ask Me Anything questions. Send in suggestions for episodes.
Send in your top 5 favorite season 2 epis.
Send in your favorite epis for season 2 for our finale. And follow us on Twitter, MMMacabrePod, Instagram, Monday Morning Macabre. Check out the website, mondaymorningmacabre.com for merch and all that. Patreon members who are getting your free merch coming out. The design will be done in the next day or so.
We do not have everybody's name and size and address. So if you want, it's free. Please send it in.
It's free. If you're a Patreon member, send them on in.
We do not share your information. If you did already send a message,
if you did send in a message, I can guarantee you that we got it. I had a few people hit us back, be like, "Hey, just double," and maybe we should have said, "Hey, thanks," but that's our bad.
But we don't share any of your info that you send along, so it's just to get
Zuckerberg calls me every day and goes, "Come on,
baby,
Darcy, I'm jonesing for it."
And we say, no, Mark.
No, Zucky Buggy.
Try again tomorrow.
And
so you have nothing to lose. Just let us know.
Let us know.
We want to give you stuff.
Things. Let us give you things. Let us love you. And besides that, have a good Monday and have a very exciting upcoming Halloween week.
Yes.
And goodbye.
Boy.